we're actually recording now.
Yes. Should you need us?
We've decided to let Dan back as a one-off to see if he can behave himself.
Yeah, hi, fans of Dr. Disrespect.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
Yeah, not fans of the Acolyte.
As I keep saying, everyone has their own opinions and it's fine.
Yeah.
Even when they're wrong.
Well, that's what I thought, but I've learned since I said that I liked the Acolyte that I'm wrong bad.
You got to have the right opinions now.
Yeah.
Speaking of having the right opinions, Matt, when is your election?
Fuck. November.
There's a specific date for it, isn't it?
You've got some time to scramble.
I've got a spare room.
Even Obama has said now, like, can we put somebody else up?
Yeah. And then, obviously other recent events.
Did you talk about this last week?
Which,
no.
The big event? The assassination
the big
attempt?
event.
No, that hadn't happened yet.
The assassination. Somebody shot Trump.
I think it hadn't
in
happened
the ear.
yet, right?
And I watched this video of the ballistics and trajectory, and basically at the last millisecond, he slightly turns his head.
Yeah. Yep.
And if he hadn't, it would have fucking hit him square in the head.
Yeah. Not good.
The shot was on target. It's just, he just
He moved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Now,
is insane.
was it a little kid? Because all the pictures I've seen are of a little
It was
kid.
a young man.
It's a young man. It wasn't a teenager. I think it was like 20 or something. Like, it was young, but we could be their father.
Can you believe it that in America, somebody tried to kill a president or presidential candidate?
Yeah.
It's unheard of.
Yeah. Well, sadly not. Although people are acting like, obviously, it's not okay to do that, and you should not do that, right? No matter what you think of the man or his politics or whatever.
Yeah. It's not the way to go about it.
Wait until he's elected, at least.
in Dallas.
But I think the problem is also going to have the wrong effect, if you ask me. Like that, because he wasn't successful.
That fucking photo.
He's now more popular.
That fucking photo is
blood on his face, fist raised, flag behind him.
You couldn't come up with that if you tried. That photo is just that's a history book photo.
This is like a crack marketing team going, hear me out.
Yes.
Right?
And say what you will about him, the fact that he fucking got up and was like, fight, Jesus. He's something.
That's why I don't think it's possible for him to actually lose now. If you look, last election, it was close.
This time.
It wasn't
this is obviously, this is a big thing, and he's come out of this pretty well, but this time,
Yeah, but the same week that he did that, your president got lost in the shopping centre and couldn't find his mummy, Yeah,
that debate was terrifying. I watched it, and
I
was
what about when he introduces fucking Zelensky as the president of Russia?
Yeah, it's quite bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first it was a joke, and then
it was cute.
Yeah, and then now it's hang on a minute, that's quite bad. And then he went on the interview to explain himself, and that didn't go well either. And it was
you cannot have 4 more years of that either.
He doesn't have 4 more years, guys.
It's a worry.
And he's adamant. He's like, I'm going nowhere. No one's taken over.
Yeah. It's a worry.
At least in Australia, just vote for the party, and the party will be like, we're changing leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I've never really appreciated, especially since we had 6 prime ministers in 3 years once. But
they really got used to doing that.
This would be the solution. This would be the reason.
They got a taste for it
exists
at one point, and they were like, "Nah, you're gone,
oh, man.
You're
gone." A revolving door. I was waiting for my turn.
Yeah, it's funny.
But speaking about this, have you seen Tenacious D?
Yes.
Have you seen what's happened with them?
Wow.
Very
so let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And then I want to throw out some theories. I've
seen the video. I've seen the video of what happened. It's Kyle Gass. So Tenacious D, if you don't know,
It was Kyle's birthday.
Yeah. So Tenacious D is Jack Black and Kyle Gass. They're a band. Jack Black.
They're they're a band and best friends since childhood.
Right. And then during the show in Sydney, no less, it's Carl's birthday. They're singing happy birthday to him. Jack Black has a guy dressed as a transformer bring out a cake. Never been to see a Tenacious D show. Apparently I missed out because that's
what to expect.
Yeah.
I've seen a acoustic gig with the two of them.
Oh, yeah?
Remember when Channel V at Fox?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I went to a few of those.
two of them, two fat guys, two guitars, and they are fucking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, not talented.
Yeah.
But he takes the cake over, and Jack Black says, make a wish, and Kyle Gass says, next time, don't miss Trump. And then you can tell... But you can tell immediately that Jack Black is like, oh... Like, he's not... He's like, shit. Like...
Yeah, don't
like
wish somebody dead.
Yeah, probably not something we should be saying on stage.
I get where he was going with the joke, but it's
not a good joke.
Far too soon. Not a good joke.
So anyway, immediately Jack Black cancelled the rest of the tour. It's off, and potentially. Oh, hello. Are you bringing me a book about ancient Rome? Thank you.
Oh.
How often do you think about ancient Rome?
I mean, quite often.
Potentially off skis for the band.
Yeah.
Their management immediately sacked Kyle from their label.
Now, I think there's something else that's going in the background, that this is sort of like
really
the final thing.
Or, so it's either that or, hi guys. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. Yeah, you can pat Charlie. We don't do naps anymore.
No, we don't either. But
you can take him out.
It's 10 p.m. so
if you want.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky in that sense.
Papa, come on, let's go.
I feel the same as Luke. I feel that this is. So I'm being distracted, guys.
Let's go. Come on.
She's in trouble.
Can you
now.
go with Mummy, please? Can you go with Mummy?
Do you want a lollipop?
I want a lollipop. Yeah, that would work here too. Yeah.
Dad, lock this door.
I can't. Can I?
Yeah, not really. This
Oh, okay. Never knew that door locked. Okay, bye. You're playing guitar now. She's playing guitar now. If you tell a toddler there's one room in the house they're not allowed in,
that's the room they want to go.
Suddenly there's a lot of
there's
a lot of things they want to do in that room.
Yeah.
And now it's
I can
being
trim this
locked.
out. Don't worry.
I tend no, fuck you, internet listeners.
I mean, I can leave it in if you want. I'll just up to you.
Oh no, I don't mind. It's just people are going to be like, "Oh, it was boring. You didn't talk about what you said you were going to talk about. You just talked about personal anecdotes." I'm with Luke. I think Kyle making a joke about Trump, even saying he should be dead, seems not enough to ruin a band and a friendship and a lucrative business.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I agree that this is like a straw that's broken the camel's back. I think maybe they scrambled right after and their management or whoever said, wait, you're going to have to call him out. We're going to have to throw you under the bus.
Because I think, I felt like...
You particularly are going to have to say to your best mate, we're not friends if you think like that.
Because I only heard about it because Jack Black had done that. I'm not sure I would have heard about this if Jack Black hadn't said the band's over because of this.
I think we heard about it in Australia because it was in Australia at the time.
Yeah.
And I know, like, the Kyle and Jackie O show, they said that we are never playing Tenacious D on any station ever again, type of thing.
See, Kyle Sandilands is also not somebody that I think would give a shit about that. This is obviously just like a public... This is just for optics.
Which is sort of the strangest thing. You've got, like, Kyle... Like, they're very sort of... Like, stay whatever you want type of things. And then the first one to say, well, no, this is something I don't like, so we're going to shut them down. Which I don't agree with what Kyle said. Don't get me wrong. But
Is it because he might be the president again? Is that...
strange.
They're worried?
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
no, I think...
Or maybe
they're worried
everyone's
about-
just so paranoid
Yeah.
that, 2024, you just can't say shit, even in jest.
Because now, so my thinking is you've said that, well, there are nuts out there are going to go, well, they missed, but Kyle wants this to happen, so maybe I'll give it a
Oh,
try.
yeah, that's fair. That could be dangerous. People are pretty stupid.
Remember, a lot of times it's not the people get offended, and sometimes it's not the joke as such. It's the fact that there are nuts out there who don't believe it to be a joke.
Right. Yeah.
Like when you get sort of homophobic, LG, like those types of jokes, people aren't taking that as a joke. They're going, "Oh yeah, they are horrible people, and they are doing this." It's
Yeah. And it's true because I think can you guys hear that in the background?
It's fine.
I'll put a big noise gate on you.
I can't. Please don't. All my S's would just go away. Yeah, it's like I've noticed, it used to kind of be okay to kind of joke about things that aren't okay to joke about now. Not even just because it's not nice to joke about people, but people really do take things extra seriously at the moment. It just seems that way, right?
I think too, people here, so I've seen people on Twitter make light of it in a way, and people, the main reason is not so much about Trump even, it's about, because someone did die, a man did die.
Yes.
Shielding his kid from the fire, so gunfire.
Yeah, because there were a couple of shots, right? 3 shots altogether?
Yes, I think, yeah, at least. And so people are
the
like,
first one missed, the second one missed.
Show some respect in
hole.
that regard. Show some respect because
like 3 completely unrelated shooters from different agencies, one from the CIA, one from the mob, and a Cuban.
Who had never met and had no knowledge. Yeah, but yeah, like so obviously, yeah, Trump's all right, but like there's a man dead, and I think some other people injured. So it's not. It's no laughing matter.
Well, but I told you guys like a couple of, maybe a month ago or so. Somebody said something about the Jews in a work meeting, and I jokingly, because just like to point out the irony in what they said, I went, "Yeah, but fuck the Jews, right?" And they went, "Yeah, fuck the Jews," and I was like, "Whoa, no." I was being ironic, but now I can't even do that.
No,
nobody knows the difference
because you might actually think that.
Yeah. There are people who
because
think
they
that.
did.
Because apparently
now they think that you agree.
Yeah, they're going to be like, "Dan's with me, mate."
Yeah, that's a valid opinion these days.
It really is. Yeah,
yeah. Well,
but let's get away from politics. I hate politics.
All right,
I don't like it.
If you want some gun-related news, I've got a couple of details, a couple more details about Alec Baldwin I can share if you would like.
He did shoot the gun.
He probably did. We're just never going to find out now. Yeah, exactly. He can say whatever he wants.
If he's smart, he'll just keep his fucking mouth shut.
Yes.
Although it is kind of annoying. Although I'm assuming he doesn't care and he's just like, "I'm out of prison." But he's not been found innocent. He's not been found not guilty.
No, they've just said...
They're just not going to go to trial.
No, because they said that there's no way they could ever do a case properly anymore.
The with prejudice, though, does give it a bit more weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
definitely.
Because there's some question about whether they did it on purpose that... I mean, remains to be seen either way. But we talked about last week, there's this other ammunition that was kind of lost. Might have been lost, might have been intentionally pushed aside.
Forgotten
we
about?
don't know.
Or,
it might have been something to that. Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, should have been amongst the evidence. And people had speculated, does that change things for the armorer, for Hannah Gutierrez?
Yeah.
And apparently she's probably not going to want it to. Because
it'll just prove that there's real bullets
there. As the prosecutor said, probably the reason the defense left the ammunition where it was and didn't introduce it in her case is because it proves she had those bullets.
Yeah.
So
because once again, let's go back to if there are no bullets introduced by the armorer or somebody else, you're saying Alec Baldwin snuck a bullet in to shoot the cinematographer on purpose.
Yeah, see, it's good for Alec Baldwin because it shows that there's, in theory, someone else brought these bullets. He had no way of knowing.
She should have taken responsibility.
Not good for her.
Even right from the start, she should have just said, "It's my job. Whether he pulled the trigger or not, whether somebody handed him the gun or not, it's on me. I'll take responsibility." She should have just done that. She's going to get charged regardless.
Yeah.
With what they were trying to say, like, because wasn't the whole thing of this person came in where like there was a plot to sort of frame her for killing, or there was a plot to kill the armorer.
That's what someone told them. Yeah, but like,
which is ridiculous. It is, but
You still have to tell them.
Like, if it somehow was going to help her, she could go on appeal. Hey, we've got this new weapon that's going to break. Like, if it was possible.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But it's probably not real.
Yeah.
Because it's so very far-fetched.
Right.
Occam's razor says she just had a fucking bag of bullets.
Yeah.
Like,
and somebody was trying to help her and came in too late.
Didn't we hear stories before this even happened that people were out fucking around with the guns?
Yeah.
Before
the shooting.
Before the shooting, we knew that. Before the shooting, people were like, I'm leaving this film set. We reported on this. People walked off the film set. I think one of the cameramen walked off because he was like, you guys are amateurs. You're out there shooting bottles on your, in between takes dangerous. And stuff. I'm going home.
So one other thing I said last week, I said someone had resigned. I can clarify on that. There were 2 prosecutors originally. The day that they found out about the bullets and the judge had him bring him in, the other woman, the other prosecutor, resigned and then she was interviewed afterwards, and she said, "Well, we fucked up," and so
you know what that's
I want
called?
nothing to do with it.
Taking responsibility.
Yeah. She said, "I want nothing to do with it," so I walked away.
Yeah.
We fucked up, no question.
Yep.
And then just to clarify, I wasn't on last week's show, but I did listen in. Baldwin's walking free now, right?
Yeah.
He's a free man.
and cannot have charges brought against him again because the judge said, case dismissed with prejudice because so much damage has been done now. Everybody knows about all this. There's no way that this can ever be retried.
I am going to correct you on one thing, though, because I don't want Alec Baldwin to hear this and think he can go around and do anything. Charges can still be brought against him, just not for this.
Oh, sure.
He doesn't have free
if he
rein
shoots
now.
somebody else, yeah.
He has international immunity now. Which is a thing I've just made up.
Trying to protect him from himself.
I think there was one other thing, but probably not that important if I've forgotten it. But it was an interesting case. If you go back and watch the videos, I thought it was pretty interesting to watch it unfold.
Well, also, I don't know, I can't remember if you guys mentioned it, but just before this broke, the decision had been made that he was only accountable as the actor holding the gun, not as the producer who should have hired better people.
Yeah, right.
So that was, but then that was dwarfed in the same news cycle by the
dismissal.
The dismissal. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, very good news for him. Overall. Yeah. Very emotional.
You know what's funny? Like,
in the courtroom.
Okay, I read this week that the I don't know if it was that scene. I doubt it was that scene, but evidently the movie Rust is about somebody getting revenge from an accidental shooting.
Fucking hell.
In some way.
Yeah, right.
So maybe this guy just read the script when he was coming in and went, this is...
Maybe Baldwin's a method actor. And he was like... He seems not a method actor, as far as I can tell. But I'm glad we'll still be seeing him in movies, because I actually quite like Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. The other funny thing was the prosecutor, the one that was left, put herself on the stand to testify because she was like, I need to explain what happened here. And then so she got up, she testified, and she said, she knew that this had happened and the guy had come in. She was told it was being recorded. She didn't know it was put under a different case number, and she never bothered to check on it because she was sent a photo of what she was told were the bullets that were being brought in, and it was a photo of not all of them. The photo did not include the ones that were important. Yeah.
So in other words, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Correct.
And I didn't do it on purpose.
I had no reason to think this mattered, and therefore that's how the mistake happened.
If they had sent like a different photo with bullets that matched, then
she would have said that.
But to their credit, nobody is saying, "Oh, no," but we should still be able to. No, they're all saying, "Yeah, no, I mean that's the law, right? We fucked up.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that stuff
there
should have been amongst the
evidence.
So, yeah, it doesn't matter how it happened at the end of the day. And the other thing was that the defense was like asking her. I think this is what happens when you get put in the stand. Said, "Is it true that you said that you thought Alec Baldwin was an arrogant prick?" And she was like, "Oh, who was I alleged to have said that to?" And he's like, well, "Is it true that you said it?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't recall. Maybe if you told me who I said it to, I would refresh my memory." It's just very awkward. And he was like, "Oh yeah, is it true that you said that you would bring him down a peg?" And she's like, "I don't recall saying that." He's like, "Okay, so you deny it?" She goes, "I don't recall it." I'm not denying.
Doesn't sound like something I would
He's like,
say, but
so under oath,
if you've got a recording, then I'm sure.
Are you denying under oath that you said that? And she's like, I don't recall saying it.
But I like the fact which, like, if you let me know who I suppose he said this to, she's trying to go, who called me out? Like, who?
Yeah, do you actually know that I said this, or is it? Yeah, yeah, funny.
And if you do say a name, I'm going to make their lives hell.
Probably.
So I was caught up in a court case this week too, equally, if not more interesting than Alec Baldwin.
I think I know what you're
because
talking
I
about.
decided. I've remembered that there's a season 2 of The Jinx.
Yes.
Now, Luke, did you watch The Jinx?
I didn't.
So this is
to start.
Robert Durst, who is a property magnate. They own half of New York City. His family has been accused of murdering 3 people. Has pled not guilty and been exonerated for 1 murder, even though he admitted he chopped up the body and put it in plastic bags and threw those plastic bags in the ocean. They found him not
guilty of murder.
They could, because he said it's not a crime to chop up a body; it's a crime to murder, and you can't prove I murdered them.
Okay, so but he did get charged with like tampering with a body or something, right? It has to have. Like
that wasn't what they were charging him with, though. That's the thing.
Outrageous,
that's the loophole.
Luke.
Nobody brought that charge against him.
It's outrageous. You should really watch it.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't think they had to because it was up for murder, the big charge. So they didn't dismembering a corpse.
Twice he got away with it, I think.
So yes, so they never found the body of his first wife. So you can't charge someone with murder if there's no body, right?
You can. It's a very, very hard thing to do.
The DA won't really go against it. So it wasn't that he was acquitted of that, it was that they dropped the charges. It became a cold case. The second person actually was different, and then the third person that he murdered was his landlord that he chopped up.
Right.
At the end of The Jinx season 1, he goes to take a piss, and he's still got his mic on, and he's talking to himself, and he goes, "Well, they know you killed all of them now, don't they?" And
because he'd just given a really awkward interview where he didn't really confess, but he was acting suspiciously.
They found some pretty good evidence that he was in the apartment of the murdered woman, not his wife, not the landlord, the other woman he murdered. To be clear, he murdered them all.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He definitely murdered them all. But that was the last bit of the last episode, and then it just fades
TV
to black.
magic.
Couldn't have planned it.
Yeah, he goes in, he leaves his mic on. They're still recording because he's supposed to be going for a piss and then just coming straight back. So he goes in for a piss and then he's like, "Yeah, they know you fucking did it.
You gotta love a hot mic every now and
You're
again.
fucking busted now, mate."
He did it earlier in the series too. There's one point where his lawyer comes over and goes, "Just so you know, when you're sitting here off camera, your mic is still on. So please watch what you say." But it was just something, nothing related.
Less incriminating.
Why did he agree to do this?
Okay, so he didn't agree to do it. He sought them out.
Yeah, he's a narcissist.
Here's what happened.
Well, he was a narcissist. He's dead now, right?
Yeah, he's dead now. So in 2004, I think it was, the guy who directed this documentary directed a live-action scripted movie about the case, right? Where, what's the guy from Drive, the Mickey Mouse Club? I can never remember anyone's name. Guy with the abs.
Justin Timberlake.
The other guy from Mickey Mouse Club who's not Justin Timberlake.
Mickey Mouse Club?
Yeah. Ryan Gosling.
Oh, I was thinking you didn't mean him because you obviously that is.
No, I just couldn't remember his name. Ryan Gosling played him in the movie. And
have I not seen that?
After,
all right.
Yeah, I'd seen it at the time and it was fine. And it was one of those ones where they changed the names.
Okay.
But it's clearly the same story.
He knew
anyway,
who it was
he
about.
Knew, and he rang him. And he rang the director and he was like, "You want to make a movie about me? Do it on fucking me, mate. Do it, make it a documentary." And everybody told him not to. And as Matt said, he'd been acquitted of 1 murder and people had stopped investigating the other 2. But because he brought the attention back onto himself.
Yeah, he's a narcissist.
And then confessed. So they also aired that episode before he was arrested, obviously. So they aired the episode, then gave the footage to the police as evidence.
Oh, that's... I don't
and
like
season
that.
2...
Really
No, but it was
that.
the same week. It was the same week. It was just...
Yeah.
Because it would have taken longer to get a case together anyway. So it wasn't like... He didn't get arrested that day, even when they did have the evidence. It was still like a year later. But the first scene of the second season... Because I was like, what second season can there be? He's already confessed. Like, what? And they've already done all the backstory. The second season is about the murder of the second victim.
Oh, okay.
Now going to trial.
Because they have
Because
evidence.
they have this confession.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And the first scene of the second season is everyone from season 1 in a room watching the last episode for the first time. So the prosecutor, the original prosecutors, the family of the victim, all of these people not knowing that in that episode he confesses.
Jesus Christ.
And when it happens, the camera's just on their faces and they're just like, fucking what? And Matt, you remember that cop with the big walrus moustache who like was trying to nail him? He's just doesn't move. And then everyone's like fucking talking, and then the DA starts going, shush. Is that evidence? Is that like can we use that? And he just goes, yes. And then the second season's about the trial, and he continues to make dumb mistakes. He's like, I've told you. If they're like, what happened to your first wife? He goes, I told you, I don't know where she's buried. And they're like, no one said buried, mate.
Oh, it's like one of those
You're
like
mixing
solve a
up
crime
your
books from when
murders.
you were a kid.
Yes,
I'm afraid
that's
your wife's
right.
been killed. I'll be right
Dumbest.
there. What? And then he turns up and goes, oh, what happened, officer? You're under arrest. Why? I didn't tell you where the murder happened.
Yeah. Or like what was that really famous podcast, Serial?
Oh, yeah.
Where they were
yes.
They're like, did you know she was missing? I didn't know she was missing, but she's been gone for several days. Yeah. We have your phone records and you never called her from the moment she was murdered. Everyone else was ringing her every 10 minutes to try to find her, except you.
A little weird.
It's like, yeah, a little weird. Anyway, really worth watching.
I will.
What could they possibly show? Heaps. It's good.
All right.
And he's
on camera giving an interview when he gets the call that he's dead as well. Because he's interviewing one of the prosecutors, and then he's like, hold on, I've got to take this. He's like, he's dead. And she's like, fucking what?
Oh, God.
Which is a bit of a letdown for everyone, I think.
Well, no, it is actually, because, I mean, spoilers, you could Google this. It's already happened. But the jury found him guilty, right? He was taken to prison. He died in prison later that week.
I knew that.
But because 30 days had not passed since the... this is a rule. If you haven't spent 30 days in prison, or maybe it's 60 days, however long, the charge doesn't stick. So posthumously, the charge was... the conviction was
got away with
lifted. Well, he got away with it. He was found guilty, sent to prison, died in prison early enough that...
Unfortunately, they buried him with the mic on, and he was in the coffin going,
Yeah,
well,
that's right.
they've fucking
Corpse,
got you
yeah.
now, haven't they?
America's weird.
It is. I've been watching a show. I mentioned it to you guys on WhatsApp. My feelings on it keep kind of flip-flopping. I'm watching Reacher, which is the Amazon Prime TV adaptation of the Jack Reacher books. So there's the Tom Cruise
I forget
movies.
who the actor is, but I quite like him.
He's fucking enormous.
Just a fucking hugely muscular man.
Yeah.
Enormous.
Yes.
He certainly looks like somebody who spent time in the American military.
Yes.
You know?
So this show is simultaneously good and awful at times. And so I'm still watching it because it's good enough at times that I'm still watching it. But there's just bits of it where I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Like the tone of it is so strange. Like it's got goofy, like corny dialogue, like absolute, like staring down the camera, cornball dialogue. And then also someone a naked man nailed to the wall with his balls cut off, and he's been fed his balls, and it's just, you can see his dick's just there as they're looking at the balls and stuff like that. And then there's some like wacky zany dialogue. It's just so
got another example of that this week too. But yeah,
is it better?
Pick a lane, people.
I like it. It's just so strange
better
sometimes.
Than Tom Cruise's Reacher.
I liked the first Jack Reacher movie. This is different.
The first Jack Reacher movie is excellent.
This is different in
second
that
one is garbage.
so far the stakes are smaller in the show. It's about, a murder.
Well, we've got to keep it going.
Kind of like so far. Anyway,
you can't save the world every week,
right? Yeah. So the movie, it was quite like big arms dealers and it was very like racing through the city streets and stuff like that. It was kind of bigger than this is so far.
Does this more focus on his time trying to stay under the radar and going from town to town?
He gets off a bus to go to this town because he wants to learn about this blues singer. When he gets into town, he's arrested because there's been a body found. It's a small town in Georgia, and they arrest him, and he's like, "Why are you arresting me?" And they're like, "Well, fucking, because you just turned up and there's a dead body." That's how it works in small town America, basically. You're enormous. And
from podcasts I've listened to, that is how it works.
Yeah, and then so it kind of goes.
Must be
from
this
there.
guy. We don't know him.
And then it turns out, as we know from the Tom Cruise movie, or it's not really a spoiler, he's ex-military, special investigations, like military police or whatever. And so he's very smart, very good at investigating, and he starts telling the cops how to do their job. And at first they're annoyed, and then they're like, "Oh, actually, he's right." So
yeah, what else you got?
Yeah, exactly. And so then he's basically helping.
So this does sound good. This does sound like something I would like.
Good. It's like I said, it's just sometimes I'm like rolling my eyes going, God, do we need that bit? Like
Hannah watched it and I caught a few episodes every now and again and watched it sort of, and I enjoyed it. Like, it's definitely worth watching. It's not a... Yeah,
it doesn't insult your intelligence too much.
No, although there is, I'm not going to spoil anything, there is something that's happened in it that is very obviously like something's going on, and I don't for a second believe that they're trying to tell me that this guy is so smart that he doesn't know that something that has happened is clearly not as it seems.
Right.
And so I'm just quite confused. And I don't know, like I said, because the tone of the show's so strange, I don't actually know how that's going to play out. You know what I mean?
I sort of like it. It's fun. I like fun.
It is fun. It is.
Yeah.
It just, like I said, it flip-flops from very extremely not fun to fun in a way that I've not really seen shows do so much.
I think because there's a second season, and I think is there a third season?
I think there might be
out?
a third season. Yeah.
It's doing very well for Prime.
Yeah,
okay. They love it. Their male demo are eating this up, and in fact, my next door neighbor, who is an American and was in the military, fucking loves this.
Yeah,
and he's got all the books, but he thought the Tom Cruise version was garbage.
Okay,
he's like, that wasn't him.
Yeah, so it's worth your time. I think you'll know pretty quickly if you like it.
There is a season 2, and there is a season 3 that's been announced, so that's coming. And I think they might even like find their feet a bit more in the next one to try and find that right level of that sort of goofy and serious.
Maybe, maybe it's still just finding its feet.
It's got tits in it. If that helps.
It does help.
Oh,
but not on the same person.
But not the balls.
No. Yeah, so it's got tits and a dick.
Well, no, they're there. They're just not where they should be.
I haven't seen an alive dick in it yet, but
I saw heaps of dicks this week.
Did you?
Because I just finished season 3 of The Boys.
Oh.
And I finally saw the orgy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So, and I'd gotten mixed up. I thought the dick explosion
was at the orgy.
Was at the orgy.
It's like earlier on, right?
It's two different episodes. Yeah. 2 completely different episodes. So the orgy's later. And it's very funny. It's very funny. And Luke, have you watched this?
No,
you haven't, right?
I know about it.
No spoilers, but there's a character whose power is teleportation, but they can only teleport themselves. So if they do it, their clothes are left where they were. So they're always naked when they end up at the other end, right? Mm-hmm. And he has just so happened to teleport himself
into an orgy,
into this orgy. So everyone's like, "Oh, cool, man, you're into this too, huh?"
Yeah, like, oh, hey, man, welcome.
He's just there and he's nude. So everyone's like, "Oh, hey." It's very funny. Yeah. It's very funny.
Does he get into it?
No. Well, he has to kind of pretend. He has to kind of go along with it for a minute. Or, yeah, exactly. Because he's like, "Oh, I'll be with you in a sec."
Yeah. Good show.
Very good. Matt, I'm glad you pointed out how different MM looks in this season.
Yeah, I thought...
Because unless you had already told me that you'd looked it up and it was the same guy, I would have sworn this was a different man. The power of shaving off a beard.
I genuinely thought it was a different character at first.
Yeah.
Because it had been...
Because his dress is different,
It had been so long since I saw...
now it's corporate.
That's right. It's been so long since I saw season 3. And then when season 4 opens, he's in a government meeting. And he looks so different that I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then at some point, he was interacting with the others, and I was like,
Luke,
wait.
he's usually just in a Run DMX t-shirt showing his fucking guns, and he's got this big beard. And then in this, suddenly, suit and tie because he's got a new job, and he's shaved it just down to the pencil mustache. He looks
it looks like a different person.
I wonder if I'd look different with a pencil mustache.
You'd look all right.
You'd look good with a pencil mustache.
Yeah.
Takes effort, though, and I'm lazy.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yep. But I'm loving the boys. Boys is great.
Season 4,
Evidently,
so far, I can see why people... Well, not all the reasons people are not happy with it. It is... so far meandering a bit. I'm not quite sure where it's going. So
I feel at the end of every season 1, 2, and 3 now, because I'm about to start 4, or I've just started 4, you've had to find a way for Homelander, who's invulnerable and all-powerful, to stay doing what he was doing in the previous season.
Yeah.
You know? Like, they can't keep going like this.
Yeah, eventually he's going to figure out
villain.
It actually doesn't matter what anyone thinks of me.
I'm just going to kill these guys. Yeah, I've killed so many other people. Why aren't I killing these 3 dudes that are constantly chasing me?
Yeah.
It's like Coyote and Roadrunner, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think 4 episodes in or something like that. And it's still good and it's still funny. It's just that some of it is a bit like, oh yeah, it's this thing again.
I took a break. I took a big break in the middle of season 3, actually. I took a break after 1, and then I took a mid-season break in season 3 because it does get a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
And I must say that any interaction between Frenchie and that woman who can't talk, it just bores me. I'm sorry, it just bores me. It's like a romance, but they're not going to get together. And it's just like...
Yeah.
Bored.
Well,
but I want to hear about another TV show. I want to hear if anyone has watched more of The Acolyte.
Yeah, I've watched all of it.
Because I've still only seen the first episode. I'm looking forward to watching more. I just haven't gotten around.
I've watched all of it.
But I've heard something happens in the last episode, or a couple of things might happen.
A couple of things happened in the last episode. A handful of things.
So minor spoilers, but...
Yes.
Mate, you know all these. They're on the internet.
Yeah, people are so mad about things. Where do you want to start?
So I'm not going to get mad before I've seen it because I've done that already and I had to eat my words. But one thing, there seems to be this ongoing conversation among the fandom that no one has ever been able to give a satisfactory answer to, which is how much does the Force have impact on lightsabers?
Sure.
Some people would say none at all. Some things imply quite a bit.
I think, too, also, there is a problem, there's a discrepancy, and it's always been a problem with Star Wars. Like, this is not new. It's just that we have the internet in a way that we didn't before, because this happened even when we were, 19 years old and The Phantom Menace came out, where we watched The Phantom Menace, and suddenly things weren't as we thought they were. And we had to reframe. Luke, you've often said that you continue to have trouble with this because you consumed all of the Star Wars media that there were, and then suddenly you're now being told that's not true. This stuff is not real. Some of this stuff over here is real a little bit, but it's in a different way, and people get confused. And so I think there's a lot of that going on. Like, for example, we talked about people were mad about Ki-Adi-Mundi being in it for certain reasons like that. As far as I can tell, there's no need to be annoyed about it in any way other than the fact that previously he wouldn't have been born yet. Now they're saying his race lives longer and he was born. Like,
and the problem with that is, and this is why people are annoyed, and I can understand this actually, is in the official anything that's canon, he wasn't. In the stuff that was canon that turned to Legends, that's where his age was.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
they wiped it clean before they made the change.
Yes. And there's some stuff in this that people are mad about. That the main thing that you've put in here that people are mad about is not new. This is not new in a sense. It's been in Star Wars this thing.
Should we say what it is? What the thing is?
Okay. Yes. A lightsaber.
Luke, do you know? Do you know about this already?
I do.
Okay.
No.
I can't wait to. Okay, Matt, tell Luke because I just want to watch his face.
Okay. Lightsabers work because they have a kyber crystal that focuses the beam, right?
Yep.
At some point, as in I don't
He's
know,
worried. He's worried. Look.
7 or 8 years ago, at some point, it's in the Star Wars games, right? Kyber crystals can be bled, right? That's why Ahsoka has white lightsabers. Because the color was bled from the lightsaber. It was purified, right? You can do this thing called bleeding a kyber crystal, okay? This is not new. This is just a Star Wars thing.
It's not something I know.
No, but that's the problem, right? It's
but wait for it,
because
Luke,
you don't consume as much Star Wars stuff as you used to.
I don't anymore.
And it's not in any of the movies.
I don't consume it anymore because all the stuff I did consume, they just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So...
Okay, so apparently you can do this thing where you bleed a kyber crystal. Okay. It's in the Jedi Survivor. What's the second?
Yeah,
game?
Jedi Survivor.
Yeah. So it happens in
Which
that.
I haven't played.
Yeah, it's not a new thing. But so what happens at the end of? There's going to be pretty big spoilers when I tell you this because one of the characters.
I don't care about spoilers. Okay. And listeners,
big spoilers.
If you're going to
skip
watch
ahead.
It, stop what you're doing. Go watch it and then come back.
Okay. At the end of the Acolyte, Osha has a lightsaber, damaged. It's a damaged lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
She uses extreme dark side powers to do something, and the kyber crystal gets bled, and the lightsaber blade turns red. And people are mad.
In other words, she's holding a blue lightsaber.
And it turns red.
Then she turns evil, so the lightsaber turns red. Because we all know Siths have red lightsabers and Jedis have blue lightsabers.
I didn't think, you're...
It's lazy writing.
There's more to it
would
than
have looked
that,
cool, though.
right?
Did it look cool in the...
It's set up more than that, though. That's the problem, is that, when you say it like that... But the point is... Right, okay, again, extreme spoilers. It's the lightsaber she's holding is her former master's lightsaber. She's just fucking killed him by force choking him to death as he was...
Yeah, like, I get why I get the whole thing. It's like I've gone from good, I'm now... I get the symbolism
this
of
lightsaber
it all,
is damaged so that the crystal is visible. Like, it's a visual thing. Like, I don't know.
That's cool. Yeah. But I had to get my head around because I just assumed you could get a lightsaber in any color. You could go into any lightsaber shop and go yellow, purple, brown, whatever. And it just so happened that Obi-Wan's was blue and Vader's was red.
But as we know... That's not. It was.
But they
to
just
do
keep
with
they add it as they go.
The reason he had a green one in Return of the Jedi is because they were filming in front of the sky and they couldn't blue screen it. Like, yeah.
And the only reason purple exists is because
because
Samuel L. Jackson had enough clout that he went, I want my own.
Here's the thing, like with the lightsaber you get when you go to Disneyland now, you get kyber crystals.
Yeah, you swap them out.
And the color of the kyber crystal you get is the color of your lightsaber.
Yeah, but that doesn't change. But you can, like I said, bleed the kyber crystal, and like apparently this is canon. Like Ahsoka's blades are white because she pulled all she's neutral.
Canon.
But does it now mean that it is canon that you have to be force sensitive to use a lightsaber because there is a correlation between the kyber crystal and the force?
I don't think so. I think you can just have an effect on it. Yeah,
right.
Because Finn uses one and Han uses
one.
Yeah.
But he also came back as a Force Ghost.
Han did? No, that was different. He wasn't a Force Ghost. I'll stop you there. He wasn't a Force Ghost.
I don't like, but no, I'm not a fan of that. But also I don't know what's canon anymore. But I know, like, in the past, when they used to talk about old Jedi, their lightsabers actually used to be connected to a cable to a battery pack on them.
Yes. Well, see, that's the funny thing too. People are saying, why are the lightsabers so fat in the Acolyte comparatively? And it's because they're not hooked up to a battery pack. Batteries are in them. And I have to say, despite what you think about this show... Oh,
you mean in real life, the props?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the lightsaber fights in this show are possibly the best in any Star Wars. Certainly the best in a very long time. Like...
Yeah, it's because they're not fucking gymnastics. It's actual fights.
The fucking fights in this show are so good. And I feel like whoever did the fucking stunt coordination for this, no matter what you think of this show, that person needs to be in charge of fucking lightsaber fights and Star Wars stuff from now on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you slowed it down to super slow-mo speed so you can pick out the faults?
I've watched them like over and over because there's some good shit in there. It's got very what do they call it? The wuxia, the Chinese style crouching tiger, hidden dragon. There's some homages to that in there. Not
wuxia.
Yeah, right.
In Chinese.
Not sorry, I'm just pronouncing it like a Western idiot.
No. I always said wuxia for years, and then
wuxia.
Somebody in China was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Wuxia, that makes more
sense.
sense.
I'm starting to think maybe the reason why I can sort of like some of the new stuff better is because I've given up on trying to understand it all.
That's what I just watched this, and I honestly, like I said, I enjoyed it because it's more going on than it's just a standard thing. Like, I'm not used to Star Wars being particularly complicated anymore. And then so I watched this and I was just like, oh, people's motivations are complicated to the point that people are getting confused about them. Like,
maybe it's because a lot of the Star Wars, it's been like, even like the Solo movie when they're talking about hyperspace fuel and it's just
not interesting.
All this horrible stuff. And even
the
like
characters
Last Jedi
are interesting.
Last Jedi, where there's the slowest chase in the world, but then they can go off to another planet and have a thing, and hyperspace is now instantaneous, and just all this stuff that just doesn't make any sense anymore. You just have to let it go. And then
I just turned to the dark side. Did you see that?
I did.
So there's another cameo. There's two cameos in the finale.
I want to know about this other cameo.
So the first cameo, people are upset about. Yoda is at the end. That is one. That's not the one people are upset about. Some people are, but no one.
I was expecting Yoda.
He doesn't say anything. It's just at the end, one of the Jedi walk in to say, "I guess I've got to fill you in on some stuff," and then it pans down and it's Yoda, just the back of his head. And then the other one that people are frothing about is Darth Plagueis is in it.
Okay.
Which, I mean, makes sense because the other thing people were mad about was the creation of these twins using the Force. Although, hang on, I got to backtrack on this too. I didn't know this. Right? That's in the Clone Wars, right? The idea of this not being unique it has already been established in the Clone Wars TV show, or one of those TV shows. Like, people apparently this is a thing in Star Wars now.
Thanks, Filoni.
Yeah. So like the fact that people are mad, Anakin was supposed to be unique. Well, that already got fucked up in the Star Wars that you do like. So
yeah.
But I think wasn't.
But also that was dumb when it was Anakin.
Yeah.
It makes more sense now if anyone can do it.
Oh, that's the thing with the lightsabers. People were like, why didn't Anakin's lightsaber turn red when he was when he turned evil?
Totally different situation,
different scenario. Like, there's a whole point made of like how you must kill a Jedi without a weapon, and there's a whole big thing about like, what the fuck does that even mean? And at the end, she just fucking hates him so much that he just fucking chokes to death, and then she's holding his lightsaber, and then it fucking does this thing, and I was like, fuck, hey, all right, that's cool.
Kind of sad. I did actually like him.
Pretty
though.
cool.
It is cool.
I don't even know who it is because I've only still seen the first episode.
No,
my favorite part is when
Games.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
My favourite part is when you see, he dies. Oh, yeah, thanks for the spoiler.
Still good. Still worth watching.
We gave you plenty of warning.
I know. I'm joking. When you see that Jedi fucking steaming his uniform, like, it's so good.
They the guy who plays Kaimir, the Manny something or other, he said there's some, they call it like thirst trap or stuff in this, whatever it is. There's some sexual tension, right? That they like. Apparently, he said in an interview afterwards, they actually leaned into it because people were so desperate for that in the prequels, like shipping, Kylo Ren with Rey and all this kind of stuff, and it was just so.
Someone's gotta fuck.
It was just so like dry and like, and then so no one does anything in this, but it is like, it's a thing more than it ever has been before.
Sure.
Like,
yeah,
because they were like, fuck it.
But it reminded me of in Andor when he was like, "Have you modified your uniform?" He's like, "Yes, I made it a little tighter."
It was so good. Now this and Andor, good stuff. Yeah, so Yoda, Plagueis, the lightsaber thing. People are mad about those things. People are confused about the motivations of a little furry character make up your own mind about that when you see it. I think probably it could have been handled in a way that was clearer, but
maybe they didn't want it to be clear.
No, I think it's pretty clear, but you have to watch. I think the problem is that there's an episode that happens, and there's a flashback episode in the middle, and then the next episode, and so it gets a little confusing about why someone's doing something. But it actually is if you
heard that
pay attention, it kind of does make sense.
Okay.
See,
Tamora Morrison has said that he wants an entire episode in the next season of Mandalorian just about him because he had one hijacked away from him from his show.
That's fair.
It is fair, but that was the only decent episode in that whole fucking show.
I've got to go. I know I said I tried to watch Ahsoka and I couldn't, but the main thing people keep saying is that the best thing about Ahsoka was Ray Stevenson, and I fucking love Ray Stevenson. So I think I just have to. He was
great in it.
I just have to push through it and watch that. But they're going to replace him.
Great in it.
They're going to replace him for the next season.
They're going to replace him, because his character was felt very pivotal in it, and it's a shame he won't be back to do it because he was great.
The reason I know that is because there's something people are complaining about in the Acolyte that is related to something to do with his character. And it's in the Clone Wars, and that's how I was like, I don't understand what people. I think the problem is now Star Wars is so big, nobody actually knows what the fuck is real anymore in Star Wars.
You have to watch everything, including the 500 episodes of the Clone Wars and the Rebels, and it's too. That's why I like the idea of the Acolyte, where we're going 100 years in the past.
Yep.
Don't worry about anything, because
100's not far enough.
I mean, they did tie it in.
Old Republic stuff.
They did tie it in a bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They still really shoehorned.
And also
Yoda's in it.
Yeah, there's two characters from.
Can we get away from Jedi?
I don't know
That'd
about that.
Good. Imagine 10,000 years ago, no Jedi. It's just in this cool uniform. There's still the Force because it's always been there, and people still maybe know how to use it. There's just not this organized religion of Jedi yet.
Yeah,
I see it, Luke. Greenlit.
Because it's also that's the thing that annoyed me about like the sequels was it wasn't a like I honestly thought they were going to get rid of the light and dark.
Right.
Like the way forward is there's no light and dark. There's the grey sort of Jedi. Like we're in between.
Seems like they're leaning further into it.
Doesn't have to be extreme.
No, when you turn evil, your stuff turns evil too.
Luke. I even think that's what Luke was trying to sort of say in it, and then Ray came back and stole the books to go, "No, we got to resurrect the Jedi." And put me in charge. I will fix Star Wars. I promise.
I think the
problem is you can't fix it because there's now at least two camps.
There's more than that. There's more than two camps.
But the thing is, here's the problem. The three of us, I mean, I'm going to generalize. We like Andor, and we like original trilogy, and we kind of like this, but we didn't like Obi-Wan, and we didn't like Boba Fett.
Yeah,
but there's people that like Boba Fett and this, but don't like Andor. And there's people that liked Obi-Wan and Boba Fett and this, or Obi-Wan and Boba Fett, but not this.
I've learned this week. I think I mentioned this last week, sorry. I think I learned recently because of the Acolyte. There are people online arguing about this show on like forums and stuff like that who have never seen any of the movies. They've only seen the TV shows and stuff like that. And like, they just love the Clone Wars, and they're mad about stuff that's different in this. And it just made me think like, yeah, we watched the originals. Imagine like, and it goes back even further, right? Star Wars comes out, right? And you're told a bunch of stuff. And then The Empire Strikes Back comes out, and it's like, well, hang on a minute. Like, what do you mean What do you mean he's his father? He killed his father.
Just retconned a bunch of stuff.
And then the Return of the Jedi comes out and it's like, what do you mean they're brother and sister? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, true. Long before that even. The fucking re-release of Star Wars to say Episode 4 confused the fuck out of everyone. I remember, because I never saw it without that, because I never saw it at the cinema. No. I saw the home video and it was always there. But I remember saying to my dad, Part 4.
Can I see the first three?
No. And I'm like, well, why does it have it? And he's like, I don't know.
Because I asked my parents for like so long, like, I want to see the first three. Like, where are they? What are they called? And no.
I saw an amazing argument on a forum where it was talking about how like the new stuff contextualizes the old stuff. And it was about how in Star Wars you see Obi-Wan talking about the Jedi and kind of reflecting on his time. And then when the Obi-Wan TV series came out, we get to see what he was thinking about. And then someone was like, he wasn't thinking about that because in 1977 there was no Obi-Wan TV show, so Obi-Wan in that movie wasn't reflecting on that, and I was like,
no, that's
what?
right.
Yeah, like it's so strange to think about that way. Like,
yeah,
like that's not what that character was doing in that movie at that time.
No. But I think it's quite obvious. There's this bit where Luke straight up asked what happened to my dad, and he was like, killed.
Darth Vader killed him.
Yep.
But that's the thing. George wasn't even going, he's going to lie and say he killed him. No. At that point,
they changed
he had
later.
killed him.
They changed it later. Yeah.
Changed it later, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this great meme the other day. It was like, what happened to my father? He's like, you know the game, The Floor is Lava? He wasn't very good at
it. Yeah. I saw a great thing that was said that people watching Star Wars see something that they don't agree with and they think it's a mistake and not just the plot that they've decided is the plot now. And then as it goes on and it like doubles down on it, they're like, oh, they keep making mistakes. And it's like, that's not a mistake. They just don't care what you think. Yeah. That's the plot now.
Remember, but the thing is, yes, yeah. But it's... What you have to remember is that Star Wars has always been a bit weird with the fandom.
Yeah,
they never say the word Ewok in Return of the Jedi. They're not called Ewoks. We only know that because the toys say
they
Ewok.
Don't name him as Wicket. They don't know his name's Wicket. We just know that.
Credits.
Oh, maybe.
Boba Fett never gets introduced.
Oh, sure.
But Han goes,
Boba Fett.
What do you mean Boba Fett's here? Like, someone said to me once at school, you like Star Wars, do you? I said, yep. He goes, who's Boba Fett? I said, I've never heard that fucking word before in my fucking life. He's like, well, then you don't like Star Wars. I'm like, don't I? Okay, then I don't then. Like, because I don't know a character who doesn't get named in this fucking movie.
But see, like, Boba Fett to me was an amazing character until the prequels when he became
But if you see...
He was always that character, Luke. He was always that character. You just didn't know it yet.
He was
no, he fucking wasn't. Luke, have you seen? There's this old piece of footage of Darth Vader and a white Boba Fett, right, in a parade in 1978.
Yeah.
Right. So it's George Lucas, Darth Vader, and a white Boba Fett. And everyone's going, who's this? And he's like, this is Boba Fett. He's going to be in the next movie, and he's going to be Darth Vader's offsider, his right-hand man. And
just to clarify, when you say a white Boba Fett,
reading the suit.
When you say a white Boba Fett, you mean the suit. Yeah. You don't mean not a Samoan man.
No, I mean he was not Samoan. Actually, that's true because it was the sound guy, Bill. Is it Bill Burt?
Oh,
Bill
Ben
Burt,
Burt.
who does the sound? Ben Burt.
Yeah,
Ben Burt. It was him in the suit.
Huh.
And he was going to write, but then when he wrote it, well, he didn't write it. He passed it off and his drawings, and they just did something else with it.
They didn't like it.
There was a prototype for him being a white Boba Fett. But remember, Boba Fett didn't actually come from George Lucas.
So he was in the
holiday
special.
Because George Lucas...
holiday special.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, you're right. No, but then it must have been before that even. It must have been before that.
No, because Boba Fett was... All the white Boba Fett outfits, there was prototypes for Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, right.
So he was taking...
But then they knew what colour he was going to be.
They will take... Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Who knows? Yeah, but they could have changed it.
A fucking mess.
They don't care about whether it makes sense or not. They don't care.
Not only, yeah. But you say, oh, Luke and Leia aren't brother and sister. They were clearly not brother and sister. But then if you go back to the draft before the one they shot, they were brother and sister. So at one point, he did think they were, but then he decided they weren't, and then he decided they were again. This is why I keep
calling bullshit on George Lucas going, he's got this whole thing mapped out, and he's got all these...
Oh,
no,
100%.
he keeps flip-flopping the time.
I was going to say listen or read.
I believe he's written a lot, but I don't believe it's a Bible.
Yeah, The Secret History of Star Wars, I think, is the one I'm thinking of, where they go through all the drafts and stuff, and it just changes so much as it goes along, because someone goes...
That one where it was set on Earth 3,000 years in the future, and there are dragons.
Yeah, Mace Windu exists in it.
Mace Windu is
riding a dragon in it,
Yeah, like the names may have existed, but the story has changed greatly. Because I remember his original idea had no humans in it at all.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all going to be robots and aliens, and then people went to him, people aren't going to relate to this at all.
Yeah.
I realised that too. I started reading. I don't have to go into it. I started reading a book, high fantasy, and there were no humans, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to get to the end of this. Like, I need something. You know, at least a hobbit looks like a man. Oh, yeah. You know, like I can't follow a fish. You know. But you guys, when you're talking last week about how you know, there's kids that are like, oh, fuck, I've got to watch these movies now. You know, I realized. Did you guys? I hadn't really thought about it. I've only seen Revenge of the Sith once at the movies.
Oh, really?
And that's the
I've
best.
Never
of the
watched it a second
That's the
time.
best of the prequels.
Still garbage though, because by the time I watched that and I was like, this is the best one, and I still don't like it. I guess I just don't like any of these.
I know I've seen it again, but probably not that many times.
Yeah, it's. I honestly, the funny thing is, I've seen episode 1 more than I've seen the others.
Yeah, same.
And that's the worst one.
To.
But that's only because I was lying to
Is it
myself
the worst
trying to
one?
say I like it.
I think Attack of the Clones is quite bad, to be honest.
It's pretty bad, but at least it's got some. I don't know. I remember when I first saw it, I said to Dave the next day, "Oh, fucking Star Wars back on track, finally good again after Phantom Menace." And then he wrote me this huge email going everything wrong with Attack of the Clones, and it was just this fucking list of why I was wrong about it, and he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
No. We were lying to ourselves back then.
Yeah. When Yoda started doing backflips, and I was like, I was just confused about how I felt about it.
Like, he's only 880 years old. Like,
but
it's not like...
That's just not ever how I pictured Yoda doing anything. Like,
no, but in one sense, it's like, cool.
Yeah.
But in another sense, it's like,
it's like just dissonance where I was like, oh, okay.
Because the thing is, like, and people listening to us are going to be like, if you liked it, just like it. Just say you liked it. Who cares?
I don't think I did like it.
It's not that we liked it. Yeah. It's that we wanted to like it.
I was confused by it because it was so different from what I thought it was going to be.
So I watched 5 movies this week, all on a single topic. But have we gotten to the end of this episode?
I think we're just about there.
We're close, if not to it.
Because I've got a lot to say about it, but I can leave it to the after party.
We can do that.
How about we finish on something called Halo?
Oh.
Another one of my loves.
Oh, don't love it too much. It's not coming back.
If you love something, let it go.
I love the game. The TV show, the first season was a bit weird. The second season started to go in the right direction. So what do you do after it starts to go in the right direction?
Cancel it.
You cancel it.
Yeah.
Who was this? Was this Prime? Who had
Paramount
this one?
Plus.
Oh, Paramount.
Now, then while it has been Paramount's going, look, we're walking away. They're still shopping around to try and get someone else.
It's happened before. Happened with Buffy.
The Expanse.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it does. Really, I have a mixed feelings about the TV show. I really do. The first season,
I love the actor.
Weird.
The actor's great.
The show wasn't actually that bad, but it has nothing to do with the game.
Well,
it's probably best though, isn't it?
You can't just adapt the game because it doesn't.
Yeah,
mate.
For me, you could
get the ODST guy back and just make a movie out of that trailer.
I feel like
fucking young boy gets recruited, sent to war, becomes a hardened fucking guy. Fucking, it's done.
It's about Master Chief, isn't it? Right? I feel like that's the thing. It probably just shouldn't be about Master Chief.
Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like set it in that world. That's what we say about Star Wars. That's why I like the Acolyte because it was about people I don't know.
Well, that's right. Like, my favorite Halo game is actually ODST, which is not about the Spartans. It's about just the grunts. And having a show about that, you can have Master Chief coming past.
Yeah. Yeah, give them a bit of a wave and they go, oh,
coming
there
and doing a talk.
Yeah.
But so I hope we get more because it was sort of starting to head in the right direction. It was season 2 was a lot better than season 1.
Okay.
I've heard that from you.
Yes.
Luke, what was that short-lived series about the kids being trained to be Spartans?
That was a webisode.
That was very good.
The podcast thing?
The podcast. And I remember, like, you both were listening to the podcast and you go, it's just about him being great. And no, you need to keep listening.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Because it's not about these kids being great. It's about these kids being kidnapped.
Yeah.
It was like a serial style thing where it was like the first episode was kind of almost propaganda, but then at the end it's like some interesting data point comes up.
It was like Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you thought it was about this?
Yeah.
It's
and then as it went
not,
on,
mate.
the journalist is
You're a fascist
revealing.
for thinking it was.
Yeah.
I think that was it was advertising for Halo 5, I think, or Halo 4. It was one of those.
Yeah.
I want to listen to that again because it was actually quite good. Because it was actually great. You got this person. It is basically hired him to do propaganda, and then he starts going a little bit further, finding out more information, and then he's on the run reporting about stuff. And
because someone contacts him and goes, "Everything you've been told is a lie," and then or something like that. It's good
because it's sort of like it is a horrible story. They kidnap children when they're 6 years old. They replace them with clones who will die. So the parents don't know that their children have been kidnapped. They just get a clone back who dies in a horrible way.
It's called Hunt the Truth.
Hunt the Truth.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
then they get trained, and a lot of them die and have horrible things. And even when they get past the training and they get augmented, a lot of them have issues, and like some of them die, and some of them have deformed appendages and things like this. And it's a terrible, terrible story. And then you get Master Chef,
Gordon Ramsay.
Master Chef.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, I don't know. I sort of hope I see it because once I was able to disconnect from the game to the show,
and
it is a hard thing to do, and it's also hard with Star Wars as well, like disconnecting from the canon I know to.
So I couldn't make it to the end of Fallout, but also because it was boring.
The show.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't finish it.
Oh.
I will, maybe.
I think
watch
you
the
should.
Acolyte instead.
Yeah.
But you know what we should do about now?
Go to the after party.
Finish up here and go to the after party.
What's the after party?
Yeah.
What are you talking
so
about?
I'll just give you a little link, a little teaser here. Is the guy who plays Master Chief in the Halo series also played the Leprechaun in a series called American Gods.
He did.
Written by a
horrible
a writer.
No.
We'll
find
you be
out.
the judge
Maybe.
in the after party. Where
we shouldn't be the judge.
I've done.
No, we should decide.
We did a thing. I did what we always
Definitively.
did. Is I commented on it before I'd sampled the media in question. I've listened to the podcast, and I know you have too, Dan.
have I.
And I have thoughts,
Yeah.
which I will
So
share.
we've got thoughts on that. And also, if you want to know what I think about Furiosa,
I want to know.
Go to multiplenerdgasm.com /
Patreon.com/multiple
the after party.
nerdgasm.
Patreon. Or go to multiplenerdgasm.com and follow the links
Exactly.
to our Patreon.
Patreon.com/multiplenerdgasm, multiplenerdgasm.com, or
And we have some Geek of the Weeks coming up.
we do. Isn't that going to be a packed
Some
after
big
party?
ones.
Get in there.
This is going to be
guys.
another one.
Get in there.
And if you think this is just like a 10-minute throwaway that we give,
No.
2 weeks ago the after party was longer than the main show. So
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. Yeah, so for $1 a month, you get to support us. You get the show early. You get the video and everything in your feed on Patreon. You'll get no ads ever under any circumstances for $1 a month.
and that means nothing at the moment because there aren't ads in the main show, but we may have to do that soon. So
yeah, we've talked about it. We've been avoiding it, but we've talked about it. And for $5 a month, you get the after party.
I mean, you don't need me to tell you that there's betterhealth.com. Okay, there's betterhealth.com.
Yes.
There's Blue Apron. You know what the podcast ads are. All right.
Yeah. Don't mention them. We're not getting paid yet.
Well, maybe we do. Maybe we haven't been getting paid because we haven't been mentioning them.
Go to evenbetterhealth.com.
Yeah,
Go to worsehealth.com.
that's where I am
should
now.
register worsehealth.com.
And it's still psychologists, but it's people that go,
Yeah.
I think you should kill yourself.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.